Tess and the Fox Hunt, Part 2. Tess listened with a complete concentration to everything that Al said. Pausing for a second after she'd finished, Tess looked Al in the eyes before setting off, running faster than she'd ever run before, with her heart pounding. Fox was so well hid it took Tess 3 attempts to find her hiding place in the cave at the bottom of the valley, far beyond the pond. As Tess walked slowly through the mouth of the cave, she heard Fox inside, literally shaking with fear. "It's me, Fox, Tess. I've come to help you." As the brave dog's eyes became more accustomed to the dark, what a sight she saw. "Oh, Fox, you poor thing." Fox looked terrible. Trembling with fear and exhaustion, she looked ragged, crouching low in the far corner of the cave. "Hello, Tess," said Fox. "I think this time they've got me. I tried to outrun them, just managed to hide in my old cave. But it won't be long before they trace my smell. I'm too tired, Tess. I can't run any more." "Listen, Fox," said Tess, "don't give up. Owl has told me what to do in detail. I've remembered it exactly. It's dangerous, but we stand a good chance. Now listen." Soon Tess had told Fox exactly what Owl had said, then started the first part of the plan, because the hounds would soon be on the trail. Tess went over to Fox and started rubbing herself against her exhausted body. She did it so hard that Fox moaned as Tess touched her bruises. "Sorry, Fox, but I have to get as much of your scent on me as possible for the plan to work. Owl said this is the key to the whole plan." After a few minutes, when Tess was satisfied that she smelt like Fox, she turned to her friend, touching noses, looking with love into her eyes. "Wait for me here, Fox. Don't try to run. Just wait for me here to return. Do you promise?" "I promise, Tess. But please don't take any risks. If anything happens to you, I will never forgive myself. Please take care." Tess had her confident, cheeky face on for her reply. "Don't worry about me, Fox. Don't worry about me." As soon as the words had left her mouth, Tess disappeared out of the cave at double high speed. She was careful not to leave any scent near or around the cave, and made her way back towards the pond. As she got nearer to the pond, the noise she heard was terrifying. It sounded like 100 dogs all heading towards her. Tess knew she had to remain calm as she started the next part of Owl's plan. Tess rubbed herself all over the trees near the edge of the pond. When she was satisfied that she'd put enough of Fox's scent around for the hounds to smell, she raced off at high speed. She had to get around the pond as fast as she could, because by the time she was at the opposite side, she knew the hounds would be arriving. Tess finished the circuit of the pond in record time. She was in time to see the back of the horses, following the screaming hounds who were already chasing her down. She was careful not to be seen. "You can't let them see you, Tess." Owl's words were repeating in her head. Tess was sure she hadn't been seen. The plan seemed to be working. Now she faced the biggest challenge of her life. This challenge, however, was one she'd been unwittingly training for without knowing. She had to race back through the wood using her special route, relying on knowledge of the path to give her vital extra seconds, because the hounds were fast, maybe faster than her. Tess was soon dodging branches, jumping logs like she had wings. She knew the path so well, even the hounds might have gained ground. They never caught sight of her. Tess kept remembering Al saying, "They mustn't see you, Tess. They mustn't see you." Soon Tess was in the field at the back of her house. She made it across safely and dashed into the garden. She was safe. Tess climbed through her dog flap into the kitchen to find Billy's father eating his doorstep-sized cheese and pickle sandwich. He was home for lunch today. Did Al know? Tess remembered Al saying, "Act frightened when you see Billy's dad." "I could have won the doggy Oscar," she later joked, "but it wasn't acting." "Hello, Tess," said the surprised Billy's dad. "You look in a panic. What on earth is wrong?" He soon found out. A few minutes later, the garden was full of hounds. They burst right through the gates and were barking, screaming for blood. If this wasn't bad enough, not far behind them were, of course, the horses and riders. Billy's dad was furious. He was double furious. He marched out into the garden with a rage he hadn't felt for years. "Is this your idea of sport?" he shouted, he yelled. "Chasing my son's dog around the countryside? I shall be reporting this to the police. Get your dogs out of my garden. I will be sending you a bill for the damage. It's outrageous." Tess poked her pretty nose through the gap in the door and saw the men on the horses with embarrassed faces. She wondered why they did it. She wondered if they were just stupid. For now, though, Fox was safe. Owl's plan had so far worked, and Tess heard the riders mumble an apology, but what she heard next was best. "Come on, let's get these dogs back home." That meant that they wouldn't try and find Fox again today. That meant she'd be able to put the final part of Owl's plan into operation. After some fuss and a few strokes from Billy's father, Tess slipped out of the flap in the door with a fine juicy bone in her mouth, which wasn't for her. After some fuss and a few strokes from Billy's father, Tess slipped out of the flap in the door with a fine juicy bone in her mouth, which wasn't for her. Soon she was underneath the tree where Owl lived. "It worked, Owl, it worked." "Tess, go to Fox now," screeched Owl before Tess had even finished speaking. "Remember all I said, Tess?" Tess remembered all right. She was soon in the cave, relieved to find Fox, who was so happy to see Tess. After all she'd endured, she was just happy and relieved her friend was safe. Fox heard the hounds from inside the cave, knowing Tess was trying to outwit them. In some ways this was harder for her to endure than being chased, having to wait, not knowing what was happening, whether Tess was okay. "Come on, Fox, we have to go," said Tess. Fox didn't reply, just had a couple of licks on the bone Tess had brought her, stirred her tired and bruised body, and followed Tess out of the cave. Owl was overjoyed to see Fox. They had a very special relationship. Every animal in the wood knew that. Seeing Fox looking so ragged, Owl began to get emotional, too emotional, and she put on her strong face as she spoke to her friend. "Go with Tess, Fox. You must do all of the plan for it to work." After quick goodbyes, Fox followed Tess along her path towards the field near the house. She shuddered as she smelt the scent left behind by the pack of hounds, but they were soon in the garden where Tess showed Fox into the old shed. Billy's dad never went into the shed. It had been unused all the time they'd lived there. Although how Owl knew this, Tess couldn't even guess. They would never come back here, Fox. They wouldn't dare. Not after Billy's dad shouted at them like he did. "You can rest here for as long as you like. I'm going to get you some water and bring you some of my food. Billy's dad has gone back to work." Tess dragged the container of water from underneath the hosepipe over to the shed, and Fox drank away, pausing to look at Tess with a tear in her eye. She couldn't believe what she'd done for her.